Most people assume intelligent individuals have an advantage in life. They believe that being smart means making better decisions, avoiding mistakes, and navigating life with clarity and success. But the truth is far more complicated. Highly intelligent people often sabotage their own happiness. Not because they want to, but because their mind works against them in ways few people understand. If you've ever wondered why intelligent people can be deeply unhappy, restless, or emotionally unfulfilled, this video will reveal the hidden psychological mechanisms behind that experience. Because intelligence is not just a gift, it's a double-edged mind that can lift you higher than others but also cut deeper. Let's explore why highly intelligent people often get in their own way. They overanalyze every decision until pleasure collapses under pressure. When an average person faces a decision, they choose based on convenience or habit. But an intelligent person's mind doesn't stop at the surface. It simulates outcomes, calculates trade-offs, imagines consequences, and questions motives. This creates a mental spiral where even small choices carry enormous weight. Should I take this opportunity? Should I trust this person? Should I commit to this path? The problem is not the choice, it's the overthinking. Happiness requires presence, but the intelligent mind lives in possibility. And endless possibilities create paralysis. In trying to make the perfect decision, intelligent people often lose the joy of simply choosing. They see too clearly the flaws in themselves and others. Intelligent people have a penetrating awareness of human behavior. They can see dishonesty, insecurity, contradictions, and hidden motives with painful clarity. But this clarity becomes a curse. They struggle to accept imperfections, especially their own. When they see their own mistakes, they magnify them. When they see their flaws, they dissect them. Self-awareness becomes self-criticism. They forget that imperfection is part of being human, not a sign of failure. And because happiness requires self-acceptance, this razor-sharp perception becomes emotional sabotage. Their standards are so high that nothing feels good enough. Intelligent people don't just dream, they idealize. Their minds can imagine perfect relationships, perfect careers, perfect outcomes. But reality can't compete with imagination. So they feel dissatisfied even when life is going well. They expect a level of emotional, intellectual, and existential alignment that is extremely rare. They sabotage their happiness by rejecting good things simply because they're not perfect things. They compare reality to a mental masterpiece that doesn't exist, and the result is chronic disappointment. They struggle to truly connect with people. Deep minds require deep connection. Intelligent individuals crave conversations with weight, relationships with authenticity, and friendships built on mutual understanding. But these connections are rare. Most social interactions feel superficial or predictable. They often hide their depth to avoid overwhelming people. They minimize their intelligence to avoid intimidating them, and eventually they feel unseen. Happiness is built on connection, but when connection feels scarce, happiness becomes fragile. Intelligent people sabotage their happiness by isolating themselves emotionally, even when surrounded by others. They are painfully aware of life's uncertainty and fragility. Most people live inside comforting illusions. Intelligent people struggle to accept them. They are acutely aware that things can change without warning, that people can disappear, that success can collapse, that time moves relentlessly. This awareness creates anxiety not because they're fearful, but because they see too much. When you understand how fragile everything is, it becomes harder to relax into happiness. Their mind prepares for loss even in moments of joy, sabotaging the joy before it can fully arrive. They feel responsible for everything, emotionally, morally, intellectually. Intelligent people often take responsibility for the feelings of others. They overthink how their actions affect people. They question whether they are doing enough, giving enough, being enough. This creates emotional overload. They carry burdens that aren't theirs. They replay conversations to check for mistakes. They try to fix problems they didn't cause. And in the pursuit of being good, they exhaust themselves emotionally. Happiness requires boundaries, but intelligent people struggle to set them. They fear mediocrity more than they fear unhappiness. This is one of the deepest reasons. Intelligent minds crave potential, growth, challenge, excellence. The idea of living a mediocre life is terrifying, so they push themselves relentlessly. But in this pursuit, they neglect rest, joy, and even relationships. They measure their worth against impossible internal standards. They think happiness must be earned, not experienced. And so they chase achievement at the cost of peace. They sabotage their happiness by believing it must wait until they accomplish enough. Their imagination creates emotional catastrophes. Intelligent people don't just imagine creative ideas. They imagine disasters, heartbreaks, failures, betrayals, scenarios that haven't happened but feel real. Their mind simulates danger to protect them, but simulated danger creates real anxiety. They sabotage relationships by anticipating rejection. They sabotage opportunities by predicting failure. They sabotage joy by imagining how it might end. The mind that sees possibilities also sees threats, and it often believes them. They hold themselves to an identity that doesn't allow vulnerability. Intelligent people often see themselves as the strong one, the rational one, the one who should handle everything. They pride themselves on independence, but this identity suffocates their emotional needs. They don't ask for help. They don't show weakness. They don't admit confusion. They hide their pain behind logic and competence. And in doing so, they sabotage their own happiness by refusing to receive support, love, and understanding. Happiness requires vulnerability, but intelligent people fear it will invalidate their identity. Here's the truth. Intelligent people don't sabotage their happiness because they want to suffer. They sabotage it because their mind is powerful enough to create obstacles that others never face. Their thoughts are heavier, their fears are sharper, their expectations are higher, and their depth is deeper. But intelligence is not the enemy, it's the tool. The moment you recognize these patterns, you reclaim control from the thoughts that once controlled you. You learn to accept imperfection. You learn to let go of idealism. You learn to see vulnerability not as weakness, but as connection. And once that happens, intelligence stops sabotaging happiness and starts enriching it. Your mind is powerful, but so is your capacity for joy. You just have to stop fighting yourself.